What's up, everyone? Welcome into the Cannonballs podcast. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Dane Cannon. Co-hosting with me today is
your boy, Jake Bowes.
on the mic 1, 2.
Yeah, you know the rest. This is my favorite. This is my favorite time of the week, Dane. I think this is my favorite episode. Yeah,
power rankings.
Well, yeah, our power rankings episode. This is my favorite.
Yeah. All right, guys. So we're gonna have Week 4 power rankings. Following the Monday night game of Week 3. We just finished watching a couple days ago. We just watched Dallas and New York Giants. Dallas ended up with the win. So now that we've seen every game, Jake and I are both going to give our opinion. I like this new format that we're doing. I give my own power rankings. Jake gives his, so that way we can compare. And that way you guys get 2 separate power rankings, so you can decide who you like more. And, if your team's doing shit, I'm sorry. I'm with you guys. My team's doing shit, so we'll see where they go. So, Jake, do you want to start it off at 32?
I just want to say real quick, if you guys haven't, follow us on Instagram, Cannonballs_podcast. Follow us on YouTube. Comment, like, subscribe, all the good stuff. Watch the first 5 minutes. Listen to the first 5 minutes. That's all we care about. I mean, if you want, you can listen to the whole thing. But, we're just trying to make it up in this world. So help your boys out. But, and
the more you help us, the better the graphics will get, the better animations we'll get. We'll start maybe being able to do this full time and get paid for it. That would be nice because, both Jake and I, we have a very busy personal life. So it makes it hard to do a whole bunch of editing ourselves. So hopefully one day we can do that and make the quality better for you guys. But yeah, Jake, let's get going. Who do you have at 32?
Dropping 2 spots for my Week 3 power rankings. I got the Houston Texans.
I have Houston at 32 as well, but I have them staying put. I had them 32 last week. I have them 32 now.
Yeah, I still think they're better than the Bears, honestly, but the Bears have 2 more wins than them, so I can't really say that. The Texans are a scrappy team. They got a scrappy couple players on defense. Lovie Smith, he's got them fighting in Houston. Yep. And then I think Davis Mills isn't that bad, honestly. Like, I think they can win games with him. Hopefully he just doesn't throw timely, costly interceptions like he did last week. So, yeah, I got him at 32.
Yep, I agree with everything that you said. I think that they can definitely be better than the 32 ranked team, but we will have to wait and see. At 31, I have the New York Jets. I had them dropping 5 spots for me. It was just a dominant performance by Cincinnati. Just New York, they have playmakers, but I just wasn't impressed with the game at all. So, yeah, I got New York at 31.
Yeah, I probably should have dropped the Jets a little bit more than I did. I did drop them, but not as much as I should have. Oh, well. At 31, I got the Commanders. Okay. They got stomped, man. They did play the Eagles, but they didn't look good. I mean, they didn't score a point until the very end of the 4th quarter. So, I mean, I think they will be better than the 31st ranked team. Again, I want to remind you guys, this isn't actual rankings. This is just our power rankings, how we think they look.
Yeah, it's not a record prediction. We're not predicting the teams to end up here. This is just based off of the week-to-week performance.
Yeah, this is not how the draft order is going to go. But, that was just an abysmal performance from the Commanders. And, I got them at 31. At 30, I got the Commanders dropping 4 spots. So, at 30, dropping 2 spots, I got the Seahawks.
I have the Seahawks at 30 as well. Dude, we're already back on track, baby. But, yeah, I had Seattle dropping 3 spots to 30 right here.
Yeah, I wasn't high on the Seahawks to begin with. They're probably going to be around this range for the rest of the season. Maybe they'll jump up a couple spots. It's just they're very they have players. They have solid running backs. They have solid wide receivers. Geno Smith can play. Sometimes, and then they have some players on defense. I just don't think they're meshing well as a team. And I just don't think they're that good. So, and they haven't really showed me anything crazy to make them, move higher than 30. But
Yeah, they have some key players, but overall the roster is kind of limited. They're not very complete in any sense. But yeah, I think that they can play upset here and there. I think that they have decent offensive pieces. Did I say offense? Defense can step up here and there. But yeah, it was a bad win. I mean, they played hard against the Atlanta Falcons, but the Atlanta Falcons were without a win, so got to drop them. So I have them at 30 as well. In 29, this is where I have Washington. I had Washington dropping 5 spots. So I have them in the bottom 4, like you already mentioned. It was an abysmal performance by the offense. They got a garbage time touchdown. So I dropped them down to 29.
all right, this one might be a little shocking, but this team is 0-3. I got a team dropping 4 spots, and that is the Las Vegas Raiders. It's kind of hard for them to put, I can't, for all these teams in front of them have a win. The only reason I put them in front of the Seahawks, I just think they're better than the Texans and the Seahawks. I mean, the Commanders, I don't know. Maybe they could be better than the Raiders, but it's hard to rank a team that doesn't have a single win any higher than this. So I got them at 29.
Okay. It's funny because that's my 28th ranked team. I have the Raiders.
Hey!
I have the Raiders dropping 7 spots in my power rankings to 28. So I have the Raiders here. Like Jake said, you can't be high regardless of how good the team looks on paper, which their team looks good on paper. Like, they have weapons everywhere. They're winless. They're the only winless team in the NFL currently. So I have to have them here at 28.
Are they the only winless team?
Yep. I believe so.
Damn.
Atlanta was the other one, and they got a win.
Shit. Jeez Louise. All right. Yeah. Sorry, Raiders. At 28, I got the Bears. They're 2-1 right now, surprisingly. Their defense, they're no slouches. I still think this team can be the last place in the NFL, honestly.
I agree.
Their offense, for however good their defense is, their offense is absolutely putrid. You're not going to win. I mean, they're winning, but they're winning. So that's why I got them above, these other 4 teams. I got them going up 4 spots. They were my 32 ranked team, but they just figure out, they get lucky. I mean, they should have lost the game last weekend. The Texans should have beat them, but they got an interception. Bad throw. It was more of a bad throw than a good defensive play. But, sometimes the old saying is, I'd rather be lucky than good. So the Bears are pretty lucky right now. So I got them at 28.
Okay. It's funny because I have the Bears at 27. So we're very close in our power rankings so far. But yeah, I have the Bears at 27. I have them moving up 4 spots because they are 2-1. The wins haven't been pretty by any means. They've been kind of sloppy wins. As Jake and I have talked about, what we've seen up until week 3 so far, or up until week 4, it's just been a slop fest. It's sloppier than usually the start of the season is. Usually we kind of have an identity on some of these teams, and I feel like we don't this year as much as we have in the past. But yeah, Chicago's defense, like you said, is no slouch, but just because of how abysmal that offense is, I have to have them down here. Even though they are 2-1, I have them at 27.
Sorry, I was eating ice.
You're good.
All right, so at 27, I got the Jets. I got them dropping 3 spots. And now that I'm thinking about it, I probably could have put them behind the Bears, maybe the Raiders. Nah, because the Jets have a win. Who did they beat? The Browns. Yeah, I don't know. I probably would, if I could redo them, I might switch the Bears and the Jets, honestly. But yeah, I got the Jets. I mean, they got a lucky win, which I won't even say a lucky win. They just had a good win against the Browns. They do have young, talented players on that team, a good defensive-minded coach. I think they're a young team, and I think they don't know how to win. The 49ers are very similar to me like this. Back in 2018, they lost all their games by 5 points or less.
Trust me, as a Chargers fan, I know that very well.
Yeah, so That's what separates good teams from bad teams is figuring out how to win those close games. And I mean, their two losses have not been close at all, so they've been blown out. So yeah. I mean, and it's going to be interesting when they bench Joe Flacco and put Zach Wilson in. Are they going to get better? I don't know.
Yeah. So moving on for me to 26, this is where I have the Carolina Panthers. I have them moving up 4 spots. I think it was a good win against New Orleans. The defense stepped up. I still just have question marks about this team. I don't have an identity on them at all. You know, I have them moving up, but I'm keeping them at 26 because I feel like they're going to stick around this bottom tier area for now, at least. They could potentially be middle of the pack.
Yeah, I had the Panthers moving up quite a bit, just because the way they beat the Saints, who are a fringe playoff team, like they beat them down. But yeah. We'll get into them later. 26, I got the Falcons moving up 3 spots. They had a good win. I like the Falcons. I like their pieces that they have. I think out of all these bottom tier teams, the Falcons are one of my favorite teams to watch, to root for.
Agreed.
At least. I've liked Mariota since he was at Oregon. He hasn't really translated that well to the NFL, but you know, I've been saying it. This is the best Mariota has looked to me in years. And then Cordell Patterson, he's just old man Jones over here, just freaking running for 150 yards last game. Kyle Pitts is finally getting used. And then they have players on defense. Drake London, you know, he's solid. So I like the Falcons. I think they're going to win a lot more games than I thought. So, yeah, I got them at 26.
Again, funny because I have the Falcons at 25. 25 for me. I had them moving up 3 spots as well in my power rankings. You know, it was a good win. It was a close game. It wasn't against the best competition, but, you know, their offense is looking good and their defense steps up when they need to. So I have the Falcons at 25.
All right. So I'm doing a last-minute change because this one just makes more sense to me. At 24, I got the Panthers. Yeah, they had a good win.
Wait, who's your 25? Who's your 25th team?
Oh, shit. Hold up. My fault. It's late, guys.
It is.
25, I got the Lions. I got them dropping 2 spots. They should have won that game.
Yep.
And I think they're better than some of these teams that we've already said. I think they're going to win a lot more games than we think. I mean, they should have won last Sunday. But they're a scrappy team. They're going to play every game with their little hearts out. And, yeah, so I don't have them dropping too low, but, you know, they lost. So they lost in kind of a bad way too, I would say. So,
yeah.
Yeah, I got them at 25.
Yet again, here we go again. I have Detroit at 24. I have them moving down 1 spot because I think they looked so great in the first half. And then like through the third quarter, they looked pretty decent. And then they gave up a huge lead. You can't do that in the NFL. I mean, you can't take your foot off the gas pedal, but Detroit still has flashes. They look good. They just got to close out ball games. So for now, since I think they're 1-2 right now. So they gotta be down here a little bit. So I have them at 24.
All right, at 24, I'm going to put the last-minute substitution. I'm putting the Panthers. They had a good win. I just like you. They're just a hard team to judge. I like their defense. They have some really good players on defense. They have weapons on offense. I just don't know if they can piece things together, but they did on Sunday. They like beat down the Saints. So yeah, I got the Panthers right there at 24.
Perfect. At 23, I have Pittsburgh. I have Pittsburgh dropping 3 spots. The defense played well against Cleveland, but they gave up a lot of yards on the ground, especially the Nick Chubb. I mean, Nick Chubb's one of the best running backs in the NFL, so you can't put too much on them. But Mitch Trubisky, when he's at quarterback, you know, it's not going to be the prettiest game. And I don't know. I just, for me, Pittsburgh just hasn't looked great at the start of the year. I think TJ Watt being out is really affecting this defense. But yeah, I'm just going to put Pittsburgh here at 23, dropping 3 spots for me.
Yep, dropping 6 spots for me. I also have Pittsburgh
yeah.
at 26. or 23. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, you said it. But I mean, Mitchell Trubisky is only gonna take this team as far as they can go. And I've been saying it. Somehow they're gonna sneak into playoffs. Mark my words. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Trubisky is definitely not the answer. I don't know how long he'll be the starter. I don't know how long he's signed for. Maybe 2-year contract, maybe a year contract. I don't know. He does have flashes, but like, you know, a lot of quarterbacks have flashes. He's just not consistent. They have weapons though. I mean, they have a good wide receiver core. They just paid Deontay Johnson. He's one of the best possession receivers in the game. Pickens is, you know, making some crazy catches. And then Najee Harris is a really good running back. I think they just need to fix that offensive line if they're going to stick with Mitchell Trubisky. But yeah, I got the Steelers there. At 22, I got the team who just lost. By -2, I got the Giants.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
I like it.
I got them dropping 2 spots. Well, I didn't think they would go 3-0. I still don't think the Giants are a playoff team. But they are 2-1, so they have better records than those teams behind them. So that's really mainly the reason why they're up this far. This is the best the Giants have looked in 3 years. Honestly,
Yeah.
like they actually have a decent coach, I believe, with Brian Dable, but I have a hard time trusting Daniel Jones. I have a hard time trusting that wide receiver core without Sterling Shepard. We didn't mention it in our last episode, but Sterling Shepard got hurt the last play of the game.
And then Kadarius Toney can't stay healthy. He's always getting injured, even though he's only been in the league 2 years.
Yeah, he's not even on the field at times. And then, you know, Kenny Golladay is just sucking money out of that organization.
Old man River out there.
Yeah, so I mean, I think their best player is Saquon Barkley. I think he's back, but yeah, I got him at
looks
22.
good.
Yeah,
all right, I like it. At 22, I have the team that lost to Carolina. I have the New Orleans Saints because it was a bad loss. I still think this defense is top tier. You know, this defense is gonna, you know, win them some ball games. But I really have question marks around Jameis Winston personally. I don't know, like, if he's going to be able to like prevent himself from putting the ball in harm's way. I think that he's going to still try and make those throws that are just questionable and iffy, and he's going to turn the ball over. And if you're turning the ball over, you can't win ball games that way. You know, it's just not a recipe for success. So I have New Orleans down here. It was a bad win to Carolina, who was winless. So down here at 22, New Orleans.
Yeah, at 21, I got the Saints as well. So I had to switch my Panthers and my 20 team that we'll get into, just because I thought, like, the Panthers did beat the Saints, but they're not a better team than the Saints, I don't think. But you're right. Jameis Winston he's a turnover machine. At times he looks Brett Favre-like, and at times he looks, I don't know, Jamarcus Russell-like. Like they have pieces, and then he threw for like 350 yards in that game, and they still lost. So, you know, sometimes that's not what you need to win. You need to make the right throws at the right time, not the wrong throws at the worst time. And I think that's kind of what he does. He's kind of like a Jimmy Garoppolo to me, honestly. I think he can throw the ball better, but yeah, the Saints are just, I think they can get it together, but yeah, I got them at 21.
At 21, this is a huge drop for me. I have the Arizona Cardinals. I have the Cardinals dropping 8 spots in my power ranking. This offense desperately needs DeAndre Hopkins. They are kind of in shambles offensively. I know that they have some injuries. Hopefully Rondale Moore can get out there. Maybe he can open up the playbook for Marquise Brown. But yeah, James Conner hasn't been getting going. The offense just doesn't look good. Kyler Murray hasn't looked phenomenal. He hasn't looked great. They've had one good game against the Raiders, and it was only for a quarter of it. So we'll see. I mean, they were getting shut out 20-0 by the Raiders, and the Raiders let them back in. So they're 1-2, so I have them down here at 21.
At 20, I got the Patriots. I kind of wanted to drop them a little bit lower, but I switched them with the Panthers just because they were actually in the game with Baltimore. They pissed the game away at the very end. The reason, and they have the GOAT coach. He's the GOAT. The only thing the reason why I wanted to drop them down so low was they're going to be without Mac Jones for a couple games. I don't know how long. He does have a high ankle sprain. So it's going to be interesting to see what that team will do. I'm sure they'll win, a couple games without him, but their offense did look a lot better this last week against the Ravens, but I still have a hard time thinking they're going to do anything special. So yeah, I got them at 20.
I have I have New England at 20 as well. They were competitive for most of it. But yeah, we'll see how much the injury to Mac Jones affects this team. I think that the offense was exceeding my expectation personally because, I was thinking that they're not throwing the ball to anyone, but Devontae Parker and Nelson Aguilar are actually doing a significant role, or they have a significant role in this offense. And Ramondre Stevenson and Damian Harris, they can get things going. But yeah, I have New England here as well at 20.
They're easily the third best team in that division.
Agreed.
Yeah. At 19, I got the Cardinals. For everything you said previously, I got them dropping 7 spots. They don't look good. They
No.
Like you said, they miss D-Hop badly. It makes sense. Like when you're missing your favorite target, your best friend, it makes sense. And all their wide receivers are like smaller guys. I think their biggest one is Greg Dortch, or maybe Zach Ertz is probably the biggest
I think
target.
AJ Green's their biggest target.
But he's hurt now. So
Yeah.
and AJ Green is, let's be honest, he's old. He's not what he used to be, unfortunately. There's a time where him and Julio Jones were the top 2 wide receivers in the NFL. I loved AJ Green back in the day. But there's just so many things about this team that aren't good. And I won't even say not good. I'll just say mediocre. Like, I think they're better than all the teams that we've said already, but I don't think they're better than probably 15 of the next teams that we're going to say. I think they could get to the playoffs possibly, but I don't think they'll do anything in playoffs. Yeah, they need D-Hop back. And then the defense, man, even the defense doesn't look hot. So
yeah. I know that they've been dealing with some injuries as well, but I don't know. Yeah, like we pretty much touched on everything with Arizona. They're going to have to step up. Kyler's going to have to put the team on his back, and we'll see if he's able to do that. At 19, I have the New York Giants here. I have them dropping 4 spots. You got them like. Didn't you have them at like 12 last week? New York, I had them at 15.
Jesus.
But that's because they were undefeated. So it's like, I don't necessarily think New York's as good as this ranking will say necessarily, because they haven't had the prettiest wins. It's kind of like Chicago. Like, I still think that they would beat Chicago in a head-to-head matchup. That's why I have them higher, because I trust their offense a little bit more than I trust what Justin Fields has shown and what that offensive line for Chicago has shown. But I think that this was kind of one of those games where you lose to a Dallas team that's led by Cooper Rush. I get it. Dallas has an amazing defense. But I got New York here. I have them dropping 4 spots. They're still middle of the pack for me. We'll see if they can improve, and maybe Evan Neal gets things going. He's not going to be a revolving door. Kayvon Thibodeau couldn't step up. So we'll see. I'm still waiting to see what New York does, but I have them here at 19.
Right on. At 18, I got the not winless. I don't know how the hell you say that. The 1-1-1 Indianapolis Colts. It wasn't pretty by any means, but they did beat our second ranked team from last week. So it was a huge win for them. I've had them as a playoff team, but at the beginning of the season, they have maybe this is what they need to, turn their season around, get things going. I mean, they have a good team. Jonathan Taylor, they have one of the best offensive lines. Michael Pittman, and then Matt Ryan, who's a former MVP. I don't know if he can play like a former MVP, but yeah, I mean, that's why I got him at 18. So good win.
I probably have a surprise pick here. I have the Chargers. I have the Chargers dropping 11 spots to 18. You get blown out by the Jags at home. Granted the injuries, and that's also playing a factor why I dropped them this far in the power rankings, is because they are decimated. This team is without a bunch of star players currently. We should be getting some back next week against Houston, but how much of a factor is that going to play? Because you lose Rashawn Slater, the starting left tackle, who was a Pro Bowler his rookie year, and you're replacing him with Storm Norton, who in, I think, 20 pass sets, he gave up 6 pressures. That's fucking dog shit. I'm using 2 cuss words in this video because that's how much he pisses me off. Storm Norton is not a NFL caliber tackle. At this point, I would rather put Jamari Sawyer at left tackle and see what he can do, because he was good at Georgia. He looked good in preseason. I know he's like a guard technically, but I think he gives you a better chance than Storm Norton does. Storm Norton can't even block a kindergartner because he's so freaking bad at his job. Like, that kindergartner would go through his legs and then like freaking kick Justin Herbert in his fractured rib cartilage. But yeah, I have the Chargers at 18. I'm torching them because I'm very critical on this team since it is my team, but I'm also realistic. Like, they do not look good right now.
Only reason I didn't drop the Chargers lower than I did drop them quite a bit, but the only reason I didn't drop them is because they still have 2 of their best offensive players, Justin Herbert and Austin Eckler. So, but they are very injured, and we'll see where this season takes them. But at 17, we're on 17, correct?
Yep, 17.
Yep. 17, I got the Titans. Good win against the Raiders. They pretty much manhandled them from the beginning of that game. Derrick Henry got it going. Justin. Ryan Tannehill was throwing it. The defense looked good. I mean, the Titans are the Titans. I think that division's very interesting. I thought it was the Colts division to lose, but the emergence of the Jags, the Titans are kind of I don't know. I don't know who's gonna win that division at this point. But yeah, I got the Titans at 17.
All right, at 17, this is where I have the Colts. I have the Colts moving up 14 spots because I absolutely obliterated them in my last power rankings because of how poorly they had been playing. But
they listened to you.
They did. I literally said, I hope you guys listen to this podcast and do better. Prove me wrong. And you guys proved me wrong. You beat my number 2 power ranked team in the Kansas City Chiefs. Granted, I do think that there were some factors in that game where they probably should have lost, especially because Kansas City made a bunch of stupid mistakes. But, it's a win. They beat Kansas City. Defense looked good. I will give it to the defense. So I have the Colts here at 17.
Very nice. I just realized I have 3 AFC South teams in a row. At 16, moving up 6 spots, I got the 2-1 Jacksonville Jaguars. I said it earlier, the Chargers were very injured in this game, but they smacked the fuck out of, sorry, pardon my French. They smacked the F out of the Chargers. They came to play. Like, they smacked the Chargers in the mouth, and they looked good. They looked really good. Coaching, Trevor Lawrence, the running game, the defense, special teams. I loved it. I loved every single moment, especially except the fact that it was against your team, because I do root for the Chargers and I do like Justin Herbert. So it was sad that it was against the Chargers. But I don't mind rooting for the Jags. I mean, they're always bad. Why not root for them? They're like the Lions to me. They're the Lions of the AFC. So yeah, good win by the Jags, but I got them moving up 6 spots.
Nice. Okay, I have Tennessee here at 16. I have them moving up 6 spots. It was a good win.
Do you have 3 AFC South teams in a row too?
I do not.
Oh.
I have 2. But yeah, you'll see where I have the Jags. I haven't said them yet.
Okay.
Yeah. So Tennessee, it was a good win. Derrick Henry, like Jake already said, got going. Ryan Tannehill looked good. Defense stepped up. So yeah, I have Tennessee here at 16.
Very nice. At 15, I got the Cowboys. That defense, man.
Too. I have the Cowboys at 15 as well.
Hell yeah, dude. We're a lot closer in our rankings in this one.
Big time.
That's funny. Nah, man, the Cowboys defense is legit. Like they probably have the defensive player of the year on their team. And if they can do this, if they can win until Dak comes back, watch out, man. I mean, I still have question marks about their offense.
Same. That's why I have them middle of the pack right now.
Yeah.
Defense is carrying this team.
Mm-hmm.
But if they can rush the ball like they did tonight with Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott, they're in good hands.
Tonight, you mean Monday?
Monday, excuse me.
We're recording this on, when does this episode come out? Thursday, I think.
Thursday, yes.
Yeah. So we're recording this Thursday.
Monday at 11:59 p.m. Late start.
Jesus. All right, 14. I got the Browns.
I got the Browns as well.
Hey, let's go.
Cleveland moving up 2 spots for me. It was a good win. It was a good win, but I can't put them too much higher just simply because of the fact I don't necessarily trust Jacoby Brissett too much. But he made plays. And it's easier when your rushing attack led by Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt helps you out that much. And the defense looked okay. I thought that they would have gotten after Mitchell Trubisky a little bit more, but we'll see. Hopefully Myles Garrett's accident isn't too bad.
I was about to say that. Myles Garrett did get in an accident. Hopefully he's not too seriously injured. He's one of the best defensive ends in the NFL. But I'll say this about the Browns. I'll say this about Jacoby Brissett. If Jacoby Brissett can play turnover-free football and they can keep that run game up, the Browns will be fine until Deshaun Watson comes in. And then watch out. Because, I don't know how good he'll be. Maybe they won't even play him, honestly. Because, he's been out the entire season. You think they'll play him?
And he was out all last year, too.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think as if I'm the Browns, I probably sit him until he proves that
until Jacoby
knows
Brissett,
the offense.
Until Jacoby Brissett shows you that he can't win you ball games, because they very easily should have or could have won the New York Jets game, but then the defense let him down. He didn't look bad, and they could possibly be 3-0 right now, but they're not. So,
yeah, that run game is nasty. I think it's probably the best rushing attack in the NFL at this point.
I agree.
At 13, I have the Chargers.
Okay.
I didn't want to destroy them like you did. I know you're critical of your team, but I still think they have somewhat of a shot, just because I believe in the talent of Justin Herbert. I really do. And I said this earlier in our previous episode. This is going to be a good test for Justin Herbert and the head coach and the OC. They're going to show what they're made of with all these injuries, with and let's not forget, Keenan Allen's going to be coming back soon too. So Keenan Allen, you still got Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Gerald Everett is turning into Justin Herbert's, favorite target recently. I think Austin Eckler needs to get going a little bit more, and I think they'll be fine. And they still have players on defense. I just don't think they're have all the solid players that they had at the beginning. So it's going to be an interesting season for the Chargers, definitely. But I don't want to write them off just yet. So I got them at 13.
Okay. At 13, I have Cincinnati. I have them moving up 1 spot. It was against the Jets. That's the only reason I moved them up. It was a good dominant win. I will give them that, but they are still 1-2. They lost the first 2 games of the season. I think that they'll end up better than this. I trust Joe Burrow. I trust Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd. T. Higgins, Joe Mixon. That offense is good. The offensive line is kind of the reason why I pump the brakes a little bit, because that offensive line has been giving up pressure left and right. And it should be better than it was last year. And it's not as of right now. So I have Cincinnati here at 13.
All right. At 12, I got the San Francisco 49ers. They have a solid defense. Not worried about that. I know they'll be fine. Just that offense looked not good at all Sunday night. They need to get things together. They have players. Like, they're not going to finish right here. They have really good players. Like, they'll be fine. And, Jimmy will get it together. They do this every year, it seems like. They start off slow. They'll probably start on a run after they beat the Rams next week. But, I had to drop them just because of that abysmal offensive performance. If we were just basing this on defense, though, they'd be number one for me. But, yeah, I got them at 12.
At 12, I actually have Denver staying put in my power rankings.
Very interesting.
Even though they beat San Francisco, that offense was not doing anything other than getting the ball to Courtland Sutton. He's the only person who was doing anything, but Russell Wilson doesn't look good. It was against San Francisco's defense. I get that, but they haven't put up more than 20 points in any of the games that they played this year, if I'm not mistaken. So It's a good win, but I also think that penalties played a factor in this game that helped them out. I'm not saying that it decided the game, but it definitely kind of turned the tide in their favor, because I think San Francisco's defense was outplaying Denver's defense. So yeah. I have them staying put here.
Yeah, that's funny because I have the Broncos staying put. They're the only team that didn't move up or down at 11 for everything that you just said. They have a good defense, but like you said, the 49ers outplayed them on defense for sure. Maybe not on offense. But the offense doesn't look good for the Broncos. They're not clicking. They're not gelling. Russell Wilson looks like the most overpaid quarterback in the NFL right now. Maybe after Kyler Murray. But I mean, I know the odds of them not getting it together and continuing this terrible offensive output is very unlikely to me. I think they'll get it together, but right now they don't look better than most of these teams in front of them, even though they're 2-1. So yeah, I got them at 11.
Okay. At 11, I have Minnesota staying put. I didn't move them up because most of this game they were getting outplayed by Detroit. Detroit should have had this one in the bag. They didn't. They let Minnesota come back and win. It's a good win for Minnesota to come back from this, but I just wasn't impressed because it just wasn't 4 quarters of football. It was like a second half, basically. Not even a second half. The third quarter wasn't even the best. But yeah, I have them staying put here at 11.
Right on. At 10, I got the Tampa Bay Bucks. I know they're injured. They were without players, but that offense, this is like a reoccurring trend with some of these really good teams. Really good defense being carried. These teams are being carried by their really good defenses, and then they just can't put up points. And that's just the Bucks. They'll move up. They didn't look good against the Packers. It was a boring game. I think they'll be fine. They'll probably move back up to like 7 or something next week, but I don't know. They are playing the Chiefs next week, so we'll see. But yeah, I got the Bucks. It's not the same Tom Brady led Bucks team that we've seen in the last 2 years. That's for sure. So
agreed. So for my 10, I have Jacksonville moving up 15 spots.
Nice.
I don't care
dude.
if it was against a hurt Chargers team. It was dominant. Trevor Lawrence was making tight window throws left and right to receivers that we should have been able to cover easily. But Zay Jones making us look like rookies. Christian Kirk's looking good. Travis Etienne, James Robinson. They just outplayed us. I don't care how many injuries were on the Chargers. It was a good game plan. Doug Peterson is a good head coach. He's helping this team, and Jacksonville looks good. They're 2-1 right now. they very possibly could win the AFC South this year. Who knows? I mean, it's very early to tell. Maybe they'll kind of come back to reality a little bit, or who knows? Maybe they'll stay on this trajectory of watch out for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're a scrappy team. They can play upset this year, and they already upset the Chargers. Chargers were big hometown favorites, or I think they were like a touchdown favorite this week, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, Jacksonville, I have them moving up.
Yeah, I picked the Chargers to win, like in my Pick'ems league, but I picked the Chargers out of, like, you know how you get 16 points?
Right.
I gave the Chargers a 1 because I didn't know what Justin Herbert would do. And then the way the Jags beat the Colts and now beat the Chargers, that's 2 beatdowns in a row. I almost forgot about that Colts beatdown. So, yeah, the Jags, man, they look good. So, it's exciting. So, I mean, I don't mind rooting for the Jags, even though Louis is a Jags fan.
Yeah, I mean, good for Louis.
I just like talking shit. I like talking shit. What number are we on?
9.
This is where I got the Vikings. They did have a rough win. The only reason that I brought them back up here is because I still believe in the talent on the Vikings. Justin Jefferson, Thielen, not really the wide receiver he used to be, but you know he could. I'm sure he'll still catch touchdowns. Like he'll start off slow, and then that defense and Dalvin Cook. Unfortunately, he is hurt. He'll probably miss a game or two, but I mean
he always does every year.
Yeah, yep. Alexander Madison picked it up. I mean, he's as far as backups go, he's one of the best. Yeah, he's probably one of the best. And you know, Kirk Cousins, when he's not playing on primetime, he looks fine. So they did have a rough game last week against the Lions. But the only reason I brought him up this high is just because I still believe in the talent. So kind of like with my number 18.
Okay. At 9, this is where I have San Francisco. I have them moving down just one spot for me because this defense is top tier. Offense definitely struggled. It could possibly still struggle with Trent Williams out, but I believe in this team because Jimmy G knows the offense. They still have Debo. They still have Ayuk. Elijah Mitchell's out. Unfortunately, Trent Williams is out, but this defense is going to keep them in games no matter what. Like, this is easily top 3 defenses in the league this year. So, yeah, I have them at 9.
Thanks. I didn't – because I had them at 7 last week. Yeah, I wasn't willing to only move them down 2 spots. That offense was terrible. But they're not going to stay where I put them at, 12? But at number 8, I was talking about how I believed in the Vikings still and the talent that they got there. This is where I got the Bengals. They did get their first win of the season against the Jets, but sometimes that's what a team needs. Just like the Colts. They need to get that first win just to get it rolling. And the Bengals have a good offense, man, and a good defense. I don't know about the offensive line. We will see. I don't know. I don't really know how they played against the Jets. But I still believe in the Bengals. I think they're a good team. So, yeah, I got them at 8.
At 8, this is where I have Tampa Bay. I have Tampa Bay moving down 4 spots in my power rankings. I still trust this team. It's Tom Brady. You can't go against him too much. I don't care how much marital issue he's having with Gisella, whatever her name is. How many injuries they have. I think that they'll still win games because this defense is top tier. So, yeah, I have Tampa Bay at 8.
Right on. At number 7, moving up 3 spots, I got the Packers.
I do too, moving up 3 as well.
Hey, nice. Yeah, they look it's hard. They don't look particularly good on offense. I think they just look good enough to win games, if that makes sense. Like my top 5 teams look like elite on offense. That's why I'm not putting the Packers. Or actually, my top 6 teams look elite on offense. That's why I'm not putting the Packers any higher than this. They look good enough to win games, but that defense looks they played good. So yeah, I got them at 7.
Okay, same with me. At number 6, I have the Kansas City Chiefs here. I dropped them 4 spots. Granted, I think they should have won this game.
Is this a little AFC West bias?
It very well could be. But this offense didn't look that great. They made a lot of mistakes. They had a muff punt. They just didn't look the way that they have the first 2 weeks. So that's why I have them dropping. I mean, the defense still played well. Granted, they shot themselves in the foot, but if you shoot yourself in the foot, that's because you're playing poorly. And if you play poorly, I'm going to drop you. So I dropped the Kansas City Chiefs to 6.
Yeah, I wasn't willing to drop them that much. They had a bad game. I did drop them, but not that much. Number 6, correct?
Yep.
All right, number 6, moving up 3 spots. I got the Ravens. Good, solid win against the Patriots. The Patriots have a good defense. I still think that defense needs some work. They made a very good, my boy Kyle Hamilton made a very good strip to seal the game at the end of the game. But, I mean, Lamar Jackson's MVP front runner for me. He looks good. He's throwing the ball really good. He's running, of course. That's what he is. He's a running back.
A running back who can throw the ball.
Yep. So, yeah, the Ravens at 6. Not much else to say. I like Lamar a lot. So,
agreed. At number 5, I have the Los Angeles Rams. I have them moving up 1 spot in my power rankings. It was a good win against the Cardinals, but they did only score 20 points, I believe. Defense looked good. Jalen Ramsey looked a lot better. I just wanted to see a more dominant win. So I have them moving up 1.
I think it was a pretty dominant win. They didn't score a touchdown, but I'll get to them later because at number 5, I got the Miami Dolphins. Very good win for them. It's just, for me, they had 2 really good wins these last 2 games. I still can't trust Tua. I've seen him do this before. I have. I think they can move up. I think they can be one of the top teams in the AFC, but I'm just not going to put them above any other teams because other teams had, kind of not the best performances. I still think there's other teams that are better than Miami, but yeah, Miami looks good right now. So I got number 5, and I like their quarterbacks better than Tua. So number 5 is Miami.
All right. So number 4 for me, this is where I have Baltimore. I think that, they should have beaten Miami. I think that they should be 3-0, but they let Miami come back even though they were ahead 21 points in the 4th quarter. That can't happen, but they had a good win this last week against New England. They are still 2-1, very possibly could be 3-0. This defense looks good. Lamar looks great. So I have Baltimore here at 4.
At number 4, I got the Rams moving up 1 spot. Like I said, I thought it was a pretty dominant performance. The Cardinals didn't score a point for a while. They didn't score a touchdown. It wasn't like a dominant, like offensive performance, I would say, but I mean, they
defensively for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, the Rams are the reigning Super Bowl champs. So yeah, I mean, they're a good team. I don't know that they don't look. I think it's still the beginning of the season, so they don't look as like refined as they did at the end of the year. So they'll get it together, but it was a good win against a division opponent. So yeah, number 4, Rams.
All right, at number 3, this is where I have Buffalo. I have them dropping 2 spots in my power ranking. They very easily could have beaten Miami, but
who do you have at number 1? Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. But, the only reason that I have them here at 3 is because they did lose. Josh Allen had to throw the ball 63 times or 53 times, however many times it was, which is ridiculous. Defense still played well. They could have beaten Miami, but they didn't. So I have them here at 3.
At 3, I got the Chiefs. Bad game. I think the Chiefs have at least a couple bad games, or at least it seems like, at least last year they did. They had 2 or 3 bad games. Oh, the Chiefs are done. That's what we were saying last year. And then they went around and went to the AFC Championship, almost made it to the Super Bowl. The Chiefs are a good team. They probably have the best quarterback in the NFL. And I dropped them just because they lost. You know, if you lose, you should drop. And there's just, you know, a couple more teams that look more dominant than the Chiefs. But I still like the Chiefs, you know, quarterback situation over the Miami Dolphins and the Rams and the Ravens. So, yeah, I got the Chiefs at 3.
Nice. At number 2, I have the Miami Dolphins. They are undefeated. They did beat the number 1 ranked team, in my opinion. It was a good win, you know. Regardless of recency bias with Tua, like how poorly he's played in the past, you know, he looks good this year. I think this defense is top tier. You know, this defense is stepping up when they need to. Offense gets it going. Jalen Waddle and Tyreek are playmakers for Tua to throw the ball to. So I have the undefeated Miami Dolphins at number 2.
I like it. I think we forget about the defense of the Dolphins. The defense is good. Like, they're legit. So that's a top 10 unit for sure. But at number 2, I got the Bills dropping 1 spot. You know, they had a rough week. They played a good team. I still think they're the number one of the, if not the one, they're where I got them, the number 2. I unfortunately they did go through some injuries, so we'll see how that affects them in the long run. But I mean, they still got Josh Allen. He's dominant. He can do it all. He's got a giant arm. They have weapons on offense. They still have weapons on defense. So yeah, they'll be fine. But I got them at number 2.
So that means we both have the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
One in power rankings.
Yeah.
Eagles look good, man. This defense, 9 sacks this last week. Holy cow. Jalen Hurts looks good. Devontae Smith had an epic game. AJ Brown looks good.
Rewind. Jalen Hurts doesn't look good. He looks elite, bro. I said this last week. He looks elite. If Lamar Jackson is not the MVP frontrunner, it's Jalen Hurts. He looks so good. Shit, man. I want to apologize because I did not believe in Jalen Hurts. Like, he had flashes the last couple of years. He's been in the league. This is his 3rd year, right?
Yes, same year drafted as Justin Herbert. So 3.
Yes. So, you know, this first 2 years he's had flashes where you're like, oh, you could, you know, get it together, but it's only been like flashes. He's never had complete games, I don't think. Or maybe he's had a complete game and then the next game he just looks terrible. It is early in the season, but Jalen Hurts looks elite, bro. And, I mean, you like to talk about defenses, man. That defense.
It's nasty. You sack a quarterback 9 times, you're going to be freaking good. But yeah, guys, that's going to conclude our power rankings for week 4 or heading into week 4. If you guys aren't already, please go ahead and give us a follow on our Instagram at cannonballs_podcast. You know, you can stay up to date. We'll make reels on there, kind of give you a little heads up what's to come for future episodes. And you guys can communicate with us on there. Like Jake already said, like, comment, subscribe, turn on the bell notification if you want. Anything helps us out. Listen to the video for 5 minutes. You know, we're still growing. Jake, do you have anything you want to add?
Nah. As always, thank you for listening, and peace.